Hello and welcome to a special edition of Litter Media Live. I'm your host, Mike Smith. I'm not in trouble with the law. We've got some good friends here with us today. Lieutenant Melanie Provenzano, is that right? Provenzano?
That's correct.
Lieutenant, but she's the post commander here in Chillicothe, and we also have Sergeant Bobby Brown. We're going to be talking about safe driving over the Memorial Day holiday and during the summer months. Our interview is brought to you by Hometown Motors Incorporated. Back with the Highway Patrol right after this.
Dixie Chopper. Speed when you need it.
Visit your local Dixie Chopper dealer today or visit DixieChopper.com.
Post Commander Provenzano and Sergeant Brown with us of the Highway Patrol out of the Chillicothe Post. Lieutenant, first of all, give us a little bit of your background before we get into the meat of what we wanted to discuss today.
Okay. I've been on the Highway Patrol for 17 years and started out at Athens, went to Circleville, was promoted up to Mount Gilead as a sergeant, and then promoted to the post commander of the Chillicothe Post 2 years ago. So
you have some familiarity with this particular area before coming here as the post commander?
I do.
Yeah. Sergeant Brown, what about you?
I have 14 years on. I spent 7 years in Chillicothe as a trooper. I went to the academy and taught for 3 years there. Got promoted to Mount Gilead. I was there about a year, and then I've been back here about 3 years, Chillicothe.
What is it about Mount Gilead? Do they have to run everybody through there before they come back to Chillicothe, or what?
Just the way the openings fall.
How about that?
So.
Well, obviously we're coming up on the Memorial Day holiday as well as summer driving season, which is, I would think, one of the busier times to drive because people are on vacations and things of that nature. But let's start with Memorial Day holiday. A lot of people off work, probably starting Friday going through Monday. And we want to make sure that people are not only using the safe tips of driving, but drinking and driving, that's a no-no any time of the year, correct?
That's correct.
I know with some of the things that you do typically, do you have more people on patrol during the holiday periods or not?
We usually do. We usually have increased patrol out during every holiday weekend.
Now, I know sometimes you get federal funding for holidays. Is that correct?
That is correct.
In order to get more troopers out on the road.
Yes.
Sergeant Brown, how many more troopers might we see in our area during this holiday period?
It could vary. It just depends on each county. So probably in Ross County, usually we have anywhere between 2 to 5 people out, depending on the manpower. So I would imagine at least probably have a couple more per shift out, just depending on their availability and response to calls and things like that.
Now, I know for a period of time when I was still at the radio station, the Chillicothe Post was also serving Pike County. Is that still correct out of this post?
No, we're only in charge of Ross County.
Okay, very good. So they're probably out of Lucasville. Is that who's overseeing?
Yes, out of the Portsmouth Post.
Gotcha. Of course, we talk about drinking and driving, but it seems like the distracted driving is the message that we are hearing so much more of from you folks in recent years. Talk about why that is the case.
So with distracted driving, you're going to see an increase in traffic crashes. That was the main reason for actually going to a primary offense. Mm-hmm. Which was a really good thing for us. With the increased traffic volume over the Memorial Day weekend, distracted driving will be a big, a major component that we're going to be looking for to decrease that and to prevent traffic crashes.
Of course, I'm holding this in my hand to read notes, but this is the obstacle that we're talking about that's causing so much trouble while people are driving. And the thing of it is, there are so many devices that people can use now where they don't have to hold that in their hand while they're driving. Is that something that you can recommend or what?
With the law, you are allowed to actually have your phone, but you have to have it up to your ear. Mm-hmm. So that is legal. Anytime you have it in your hand where you're looking down or you're actually texting, mm-hmm. or you're allowed to answer a phone call, but you just cannot have it where you're actually texting.
You see, I didn't know that you could actually have it up to your ear while driving.
Yes, you can.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I thought also if you're stopped at like a traffic light, you can look down at your phone.
Yes, sir, you can.
Now, this trip that I'm taking today to cover some tournaments, I always plug mine into my car where I can look at the road map on my car without having to take my eye off the roadway.
That's definitely the safer option.
Yeah. It seems to me, Sergeant Brown, that I've seen some recent studies that indicate over the course of the year that this went into effect, that there is hard evidence that, this has made a difference, this new law.
Yeah, I don't have the numbers right off the top of my head, but I mean, I can see where it can really make a huge difference, giving us more of the flexibility to be able to observe these violations and take enforcement actions. Just basically, we just want to change people's behavior. I mean, this is common everywhere. I mean, when we're not working, in our daily lives, we see it just as well as everyone else does. So, I mean, that's why we're out there. Safety is our biggest thing with these crashes. So, trying to keep everyone safe.
Obviously, this is one of the main impediments to keeping your eye on the road in today's society. But I'm sure that over the years, you've seen some maybe bizarre things where people are distracted. I'm almost sure I saw somebody doing their makeup driving down the road the other day. Is that something you see very often?
Yeah, we've seen that. I mean, anything anything inside the vehicle can distract you. I mean, we've got plenty of calls before where, people eating, putting makeup on, watching a movie on their computer, different things like that. I mean, we've seen all that stuff over the years. Like I always tell people, the worst part of this job is going to a crash where someone gets injured or killed. So, I mean, that's why we're out there. Just trying to make things as safe as we can. So,
and of course, we want to remind people not to drink and drive. Make sure that if you are imbibing at a celebration of some kind, you have somebody that drives for you. I think we call that still designated driver or something of that nature. So, please be more conscientious about that, because too many lives have been lost on our roadways over the years because people just didn't take that seriously. Know your limits, basically. We mentioned Memorial Day holiday, where so many people will be out on the roads. Are most of the construction projects on the roadways suspended during these big holiday travel periods, or can we expect, if we're traveling, that you still might see some road crews out and about?
I think the majority of them, you won't see construction workers out for the holiday weekend.
Right, which makes sense. And on that note, when they are out there, whether it's posted or not, you're supposed to go a maximum slower speed in those construction zones. What is that number? Do you know off the top of your head?
I would think that, it's definitely posted. They should have a posted speed limit of what they want. I mean, I've seen construction sites 50 miles per hour, 45. I mean, it should be posted.
Yeah, one of the things I've seen that they've done over the years, I know with those construction sites, they have an iPad where they're able to adjust the electronic signs. So I think it depends on the work that they're doing at that time. They may have it posted as 50, 55, or 45, that type of thing. So they will adjust them appropriately for what tasks, I guess, they are
Maybe
performing.
on the traffic volume as well.
Right.
Right. That makes sense. Of course, we're talking mostly about rural Ross County, Pike County, Pickaway County. But when you get into the bigger cities, metropolitan areas, Columbus, sometimes I feel like I just jumped on the Indy 500 racetrack. I can't believe some of the people that are blowing by you, and you're standing still, weaving in and out of traffic. The old saying about driving defensively comes into play in certain circumstances like that. Right. I know with some of the things that you have seen over the years, you just did the Ticket or Click It campaign. Is that still going on? A lot of the health departments were, Sergeant, is it Corey Brown? Or not Corey, Cottrell. Is he a sergeant?
No, he's a trooper here at the post.
Okay. I think he spoke at the Ross County Health District event this past weekend.
I believe so.
And that's part of what they were talking about as well. What are some of the things that you also want to remind people of during the busy travel times of the year, like holidays and summer traffic?
I think the biggest thing is just, take your time, slow down, make arrangements for, like you talked about, the consuming alcohol, making sure that you're getting home safe, getting where you need to be. There should be no rush. I mean, obviously just plan ahead and you should be good to go. So what the issue is obviously consuming the alcohol and being in a rush, like you said, driving so fast, cutting in and out of traffic and those type of things. I mean, everyone's trying to get somewhere, so just be courteous to everyone else.
I know there was a new law that was passed that you, as far as a license plate on your vehicle, it only has to be on the back now. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. There are a number of vehicles that I have seen on the road where there's no plate even on the back. And if it is in the back window, some of the tinting is so dark, I don't know how you guys even see that. What's the restriction on tinting of vehicle windows?
So from the rear, from this back windows to all the way around the rear, it could be as dark as you want it to be. The two front side windows have to be with 70% light coming through those, and then the front is 50% light.
So if somebody has a temporary plate in their back window, how do you see it?
You can't. It's hard to see.
I don't understand why the legislature has allowed that. That's just commentary on my part, but I don't understand that.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. So it's hard to read.
You guys need a better lobbyist to go to your state legislature, because that makes your job much harder to do what you have to do, especially if you're pursuing somebody.
Right.
Well, I know that this is going to be a busy weekend for you folks and a busy summer. We wish you well. We appreciate what you do out there for all of us and keeping us safe, even when you have to stop us to remind us we need to slow down. I know it's like, why aren't you chasing that guy? But we appreciate what you're doing out there, and thanks for coming in today.
All right. Thank you so much.
Okay. Again, our guests, the Chillicothe Post Commander, Lieutenant Melanie Provenzano, and also Sergeant Bobby Brown. Our special edition of Litter Media Live today brought to you by Hometown Motors Incorporated. I'm Mike Smith.